Gonna get a tissue. So, here's the thing. I know I rail on about this a little bit, but some people don't think that mental illness is a problem. They just think that, oh well, I know people who are depressed, and at least you're seeing someone and getting medication for it. These people should probably be on medication, but they're not. So, I was depressed once. Like it's like they don't know, they don't understand, and they make things more difficult, and they judge. And the reason I'm saying that is because of something that just happened, and it's like, this is not normal. This is what I'm doing right now isn't normal. And it hurts. And it puts my focus on other things, and it makes me so I can't concentrate. I can't get the work done that I need to get done because I'm so a few moments ago, whatever, I said something really dumb in front of a lot of people I didn't mean to. I didn't even mean to speak. I was called on to ask a question, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're asking me. Like, why can't I just fucking roll with the punches? It flustered me, and I couldn't think. So I was like, something, you gotta come up with something. So just like words came out of my mouth, and it was so fucking stupid and so embarrassing. And and then the person who asked me the question asked it a different way, and I was like, oh, that's what you want to talk about. Okay. And I could answer the question, whatever went on. But after that, I can't let it go. I can let it go. I can let it go. And I am going to let it go. But the thing is, it sticks with me, and I have to work at it. And it's not just that it sticks with me, oh, I'm embarrassed. I start sobbing and beating myself up because I said something stupid in front of people. And I don't even know why it makes me so upset. But I start crying and yelling. And I get really angry at myself. And over something stupid. I'm doing this to myself. I see that. I'm clear. I am so aware that there's nothing to really be upset about. And that, these people actually know me, and yeah, okay, so I said something stupid, but is it even that I care why am I this upset? I don't, there's no reason, and then I get so upset, and there's no reason, and it destroys. It makes it hard for me to focus, and it makes it hard for me to get work done, and because it keeps coming back into my head, and every time it does, I get angry at myself, and it's so stupid. Why am I angry at myself because of it? It's just I said something stupid in front of a bunch of people, so it's embarrassing, but whatever. I don't know why I have such trouble letting these things go, and why they make me so upset. I know that there's nothing, I recognize that this isn't logical. People can talk to me and say, oh, you know, I mean, they can tell me all the reasons that it shouldn't be upsetting. You know, they can say whatever, but it doesn't matter, because that's not what it's about. It's not about logic. It's something fucking going on in my brain that's just, it's like, I don't need to be this upset all the time. This doesn't need to happen, and yet it does all the time. And that's why, like, it fucking drives me nuts when someone compares mental illness to, like, Eeyore. You know, I mean, it's so insulting. It's so ignorant. It's so hurtful, and it's damaging to society. You know, like, this isn't something to laugh at. I gotta get a tissue. You know, this isn't something to laugh at. This isn't something to make people feel bad about themselves for. Like, we feel bad enough. Okay. Okay. When these things happen, it starts like, ah, you know, like, just like, but then it builds, it's so quick. And then I'm yelling at myself. There's no reason for it. Okay, no. So, obviously I'm very upset. But the thing here is that we need to calm down. Right? This is the reason I'm here. It's not to complain about this shit. It's to find the way out. And to share that with you, all of you. So what has to happen now is I need to ground myself. I need to calm down. Here's the thing, like, there's, on the one hand, you have to allow yourself to feel things. On the other hand, if I allow myself to feel this, I'm gonna be like, it's bad. It's just bad. Like, it's just bad. Like, nothing gets done in a day. Like, I'll be on the floor sobbing for hours. Like, if I allow myself to feel this, you know? So, I think, it's a chemical thing. It's a chemical thing in my brain, and it's not who I am. I am not my thoughts and feelings, right? That's number one. I'm not my thoughts and feelings. Okay, so it's difficult when you're in the middle of it. And you're thinking to yourself, I need to calm down. This is, I mean, like, because then, and you're also, like, you're beating yourself up for whatever it was that upset you, no matter how small it was. You know, and then you're also saying to yourself, like, why can't you just fucking calm down? Like, what is wrong with you? I'm learning that part, and I'm getting better with this. I mean, I'm getting a lot better with this, although I think it might just be going underground. Having compassion for yourself, right? Like, this isn't fun. I don't want this to be happening. I don't mean for this to be happening. I'm not I'm not choosing for this to happen. I'm not choosing it. It's happening and I'm not choosing it. It's so hard when your brain does something you're not choosing. And you start doing things that you're not choosing. So when you're in the middle of it and you're like, okay, I need to calm down. I need to stop this. And I can have a little bit of compassion for myself. Like, this is terrible. You know, like this, I feel bad for me. This is not a good thing. And I can be compassionate with myself about it. And that's what one of the things I have to work on is being compassionate with myself. But in the middle of it, you don't want to be compassionate with yourself. You don't think you deserve it. God, it's so, like, it doesn't matter if people explain to you. Okay. So it becomes difficult in the moment to calm yourself down because there's nothing in you that wants to calm down. Well, I mean, that's not exactly true. There's a part of you, the part of you that's yelling and crying. It's very strong and it's talking to you. It's doing its thing. You know what I mean? It's doing its thing. And it makes you feel angry. Okay, I'm speaking for me, myself here, not you, because I can't speak as to you, but I can only speak to myself. But it makes me angry. The idea of sitting down and calming down. And I'm not quite sure why that is. But it's, I mean, part of it is the like whole self-flagellation thing, right? Where I just want to constantly whip myself. For what reason? We don't know. We don't know. It's like, there's no reason for it. So it's really hard to stop yourself in the middle of that. But that's the challenge, right? That's the challenge. That's the challenge. And the part of me that wants to better myself and get out of this, just be able to leave at least some of this behind and live a life where I'm that's the part I have to listen to. It doesn't matter, I mean it does matter, but it doesn't matter how strong the freak out part is. I am not that. I'm not that. I am not my thoughts, I am not my feelings, right? I am the consciousness that is observing them. So what I need to do is to choose to put my focus on something else. And in the moment, I don't want to. But there is a little voice in the back there saying like, okay, you have the tools, you can do this. You can just sit down, you can calm down, you know how to calm yourself down. But it's a nice part. It's not like, it's just like, come on. Like, and I get angry at that part of me. I get angry. But again, that's not, I need to not listen to that part and listen to the part that's telling me healthy things. Like, I can deal with this, and I know how to deal with this, and the only way I'm ever going to get past this, things like this is going to keep happening until I can cope with it, until I can deal with it. You know, I mean, it's never going to stop until I stop it. Simple, it's not math, but you know what I mean. It's simple logic there. So the effort has to be made, no matter how I feel about it in the moment. And it helps to do this. It does. I will say, like, I mean, I hope anybody out there that has a similar thing finds something, like, to distract them, you know, or to feel like, okay, this is happening for a reason, because I can use this to help other people. You know, like if this is going to happen to me, I'm going to make something of it. I'm going to give it a reason. I'm going to give it some meaning. You know, like I can help other people with it. And that does help me. Maybe I think it's an individual thing. Like, I don't think coming on Facebook Live and discussing their innermost thoughts and feelings is really what's going to make most people like happy about stuff or like feel better. But my suspicion is that everybody has a different thing that they can do that would amount to this, you know? So that's a suggestion for you guys. So yeah, in the moment, it is happening. It's important. I mean, you're watching it. You know what I mean? Like, you're watching it happen. It's not like you're unaware. You're like, what is happening? Why is this happening? Hang on, guys. Sorry. Like, this is probably one of those moments that the doctor's like... This is probably one of those moments where I should take the pills, right? Okay. And that's another thing. That's a different story, right? That's a different thing. How one feels about that. Okay. I'm not sure what the answer is to those moments when it's like in full force and you don't feel like you have control, and part of you doesn't want, I mean, it does want, but it does, in the moments you do want to be in control. It's just that you also feel like you deserve some punishment. Guys, when you say it out loud, it's just like, what? But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. It's reality, and I can either fight it or I can just accept it and work with it. And that's what I have to do. I'm kind of going off to a different thing right now, guys, but like lately, especially after my like breakthrough, things have just gotten really real. Like really real. You know, up until that point, it was something where I was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, you know, I'm mentally ill. If I wanted to, I could not be. Because that makes sense. But in my mind, there was a part of my mind that didn't believe me. That didn't believe me and thought I was kind of making it up. And I don't believe that anymore, though. Like that, it's just too obvious. that there's a problem. And these problems these things were there before my breakthrough, right? They were there. Not as strong and not as often. But I do believe that's the reason this is happening, because they were there, and because of them, I haven't been able to move forward in my life. They stopped me from doing things. Now they come at me, and I have to deal with them in the moment. So I'm learning. That's why this is happening, is I'm learning. I have to learn to cope with these. I have to learn so that I can go on and move forward with my life and do the things that I need to do. And do the things that I need to do. But it's become, talking to the doctors, not doctors, like my psychopharmacologist, I'm not, see, that's judgment right there. But talking to my psychopharmacologist, after this whole thing and discussing what's going on, she's like, we're experimenting with different medications and seeing what's going to work. Hopefully something will work. Just calm the thoughts down. Because the thoughts, right. And it's when you're not when I'm paying attention to them and not paying attention to the thoughts, but paying attention to what is going on in my mind, watching and seeing, observing when the thought cycle starts. And when I can do that and see the first thought in it, I can replace it with a different thought. That's about how awesome I am. A good thought, a thought that makes me feel better. When I'm focusing on something else, work, editing, which requires a lot of focus, guys. It feels like the thoughts come up from behind me and club me over the head. I'm not aware of when they start. I'm not aware of it, but I'm working on becoming aware of it. It's tough though, because my focus is split because of that. I'm trying to get work done, but at the same time, I'm trying to be vigilant about what's going on in my mind so that I don't keep having these attacks. I don't know if it's an attack, just moments. So my answer to calming myself down and finding the way out of those moments is a lot of times to turn the camera on and start talking about it. And I think to a degree what that does, one of the things that does for me, other than being okay, this gives this suffering some meaning, is that it allows me to intellectualize it in a bit. It separates me from it. And I think that might be, I hope that might be helpful for someone out there. Find some way to separate yourself, to put it further away from you and look at it rather than be in it. And it's hard in the moment. It's hard because you don't want to. You don't. The reason you're flipping out is because that's what part of you wants to do. I have a lot of work to do, guys. I have a lot to do, so I better go do it. I hope have I wrapped this up? Have I given enough thought and potential help with this, or am I just leaving? I want, if you're out there dealing with something like this, my suggestion is to find something to separate yourself from it. Whether it's talking to someone else. It's hard though because other people don't really get it, do they? They're like, stop it. If you don't, like, oh yeah. Or writing in a journal. Or taking a video of yourself but not giving it to people. You know, that might help. I'm not sure what will help you. You have to find it. But find it. Because it helps. And in those moments when it's like it's at the height and you're in it, you can still observe it. You can still watch it happen. Although there are those moments where, you know, when it spikes high enough, you're just in it. You're just in it. You're just experiencing it. It's not, you don't have an objective viewpoint on it. It just, you're not, and you don't have control. You don't have control. That's the part. That's the scary part, guys. When like, I mean, I don't have control of some of this stuff. Like I can't stop it. It just happens. Like I can stop it if I catch it before it starts. But when it's up there, I'm gone. I've left the building. You know what I mean? I'm just completely so when in those moments, what I'm going to do in the future, should this happen again, and it's gonna happen again until I figure out a way to not have it happening anymore. It's that voice that says, it's not a voice, guys. When I said this to people, they're like, you hear voices? No, I don't hear voices. It's the different thoughts that I'm listening to in my head. I consider them like voices. My voices, they're all my voices, but like I'm listening to that voice that says, okay, what you have to do now is calm down. Like sit down, put your feet on the ground, start looking around yourself, put yourself back in your body, ground yourself. So, you know, these are tools and techniques that my friend Robin has been helping me put into my mental toolbox. So I'll give you some of those. And if you've ever watched things with Robin, some of my shows with Robin, you know, we'll talk about some of this stuff. The one thing you can do is start looking around yourself and name 5 things that you can see, and then name 4 things that you can hear, and then 3 things that you can smell, and 3 things you can feel. I don't know. Basically, you go through your senses, and with the numbers that go down from 5, and you focus on your senses. Is basically what I'm saying. You focus on your senses. You get back into your body. Another thing is sitting down and planting your feet on the ground. This is a grounding thing that sounds a little silly to people who might not. I don't know. It would have sounded a little silly to me a few months ago. But it works. You know, ground yourself, put your feet on the ground, and imagine roots going down, like going into from your feet into the earth, like deep into the earth, and wrapping itself around like a rock or a crystal, and allowing the energy from the earth to come up those roots and into your body and up your chakras, your energy system. You know, that helps. It does. There's also Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian prayer for forgiveness. I think it is. But what you say is, generally in the mirror, which is kind of silly. Not silly. It's not silly, guys. It's not. Mirror work is actually very useful. But you do feel a little silly sometimes when you're looking in front of the mirror and your eyes and you're telling yourself something. It does, you're like, there's part of your brain that's like, this is fucking crazy. But we're going to put the judgments aside, right? So what it is you look at yourself and you say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. That's the whole prayer. And you say it to yourself and you say it several times. And eventually, even if you're not like in it, eventually it gets in your brain. You know what I mean? So those are all techniques that you can use to calm yourself down. The key is getting yourself to calm yourself down, you know? And that really is, I think, more about the will to do it, in the sense that it is becoming more uncomfortable. I don't, you know, it's not exactly will. I don't know. It is at the same time, though. Because it takes a lot of will to listen to the voice of reason when you're not being reasonable, because it doesn't seem reasonable. But knowing that what I want more than anything is to use this to evolve emotionally and spiritually, right? That's what this can be used for. I can sit down, and that's what I know in my head when it's happening before I lose control. I can listen to that part in my head saying, like, you want this because you want to be able to cope with this. So now you need to choose to cope with this. That's what you have to listen to. That's what I'm in the moment, though. You really don't want to listen to it. I don't know what it is, but it's putting that feeling of not wanting to cope with it. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm approximating what I mean, though, if you get what I mean. It's no matter, it's like an addiction. You're smoking and you don't want to smoke anymore, but you get the urge to smoke, right? And some people, it's really hard not to have the cigarettes, you know, because your body's like, even though it's really bad for you. And honestly, are cigarettes tasty? Like, does it feel good? Really? To fill your lungs with smoke, get them all tarred up, smell disgusting. Like, is that really what you want? I don't think so, right? So it's an addiction. It's an addiction to these thoughts. And I think what has to happen, for me at least, I don't know about you, is to overcome that addiction. You have to do things that you, like, in the moment, you find very, very difficult. That's the only way to do it, right? That's the only way this is going to happen. It's the only way I'm going to learn to deal with it, is to learn to deal with it. And eventually it will lessen and go away. Once I, this is the thing. This is the threshold, guys. This is the moment. You get into it. It's at its height. You deal with it. And you deal with it every time it comes up, because it's not going to go away all at once. But once your mind and your body is no longer conditioned to spike up into these anxiety attacks, the way your body responds to these things is just the way my body responds to. It's just like, keep going with what I was saying. I lost it. Yeah, so this is the answer on how to get out of this, right? This is once I've learned how to deal with this and to deal with this and to be able to recognize it before it starts getting bad, and then being able to switch my attention to something else. Once I'm able to do that automatically, those things are gonna fall away and lessen, because I'm not listening to them anymore. So that's the thought that will help me in those moments to choose to listen to the voice of reason. Even when it seems, anyway, just trying to keeping that in mind, thinking about it, so that in my head I know, like, I get it in there that that's how I'm going to get through this. And like, you have to choose to stop now. You know, no matter how hard it is, you have to choose it and you have to do it. And that is also control, right? I mean, that's going to make you feel better. I'm not in control of what's going on, but I can be if I do this. I can make this go away if I just choose to do what I need to do to make it go away. You know, I mean, and it sounds so silly, not silly. It just, I know to other people it can sound like, well, why don't you just choose it? Like, that's stupid that you're not choosing that. Like, why are you allowing yourself to just get... Some people don't understand. That's all I'm saying. And I know it sounds, when I say something like, I need to choose to calm down, it's like, why wouldn't you choose to calm down? Why aren't you choosing to calm down? Why are you choosing to go off on this? It's a choice, but it's not a choice. It's, you know what? It's not a choice, but I can choose to do something about it inside. So that's what I'm gonna work on. Having that in my head, knowing that when these things happen, it's important for me to do the difficult thing, it's really hard, the hard thing, which is to sit down, be compassionate with myself, and calm myself down. So that's what I have to give you today. For now, we'll see if there's something else later. I don't know. I never know. Anyway, I can be grateful for these things. I can be grateful that I have these anxiety attacks that just, I mean, people say like, oh yeah, I had like a breakdown, or like, oh, I had an anxiety attack, and you're like, you have no fucking clue. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry. So I can be grateful for it, because it's going to make me stronger. It is making me stronger. It is forcing me to evolve. And I can use it to help people, hopefully, out there. So I can turn the light of gratitude on those things. It feels hard to do, but I'm going to do it. I am doing it. I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful that this happened this morning. Yeah, that doesn't feel like, there's part of me that is, but then there's lots of energy inside of me that's like, no, you're not. But you know what? I'm going to choose to listen to the grateful voice, which means that you too can always choose to have a grateful day.